Oh, isn't it just beautiful? The color so bright and yellow, and the way it just glistens. Don't you love the sight of gold? I can tell you as a pirate, you come across a lot of it. But my adventure did not start with glory and riches. Like most, I too had a very, very rough start. The story begins many years ago when I found employment for a merchant vessel called the Rogue Wave. It was by far one of the largest and most beautiful ships I ever saw. Being the newbie of the group, naturally I was tasked with all the menial jobs. Keeping track of all the cargo was not one of them. Math was just never my strong suit. Instead, I carried all the cargo on board. And oh boy, was there a lot of goods to carry. From boxes of fresh fruit to heavy 10-pound cannonballs. I carried literally everything on board. The work was very exhausting, but I kept my mouth shut and made sure everything was put exactly in place. I had some skill with woodworking. Fixing leaks was another task I dealt with. Sometimes I had to catch chickens. Everyone found this very entertaining to watch. The most grueling task was raising the anchor. Rain or shine, day or night, I had to do it alone. Once all my jobs were done, I would find a secluded place on the ship and sleep until they woke me up for work. Little did I know how that would all change one night. I awoke to the sound of thunder. Startled, I ran to the top deck. I was utterly confused to find that everyone was gone. I tried to gain control of the ship, but it was nearly impossible to turn the wheel. That's when it happened. The mast was struck by lightning. My memory is a bit fuzzy after that. When I reached the top of the water, I noticed that there was a small rowboat in the distance. I swam as fast as I could to get to it. I could not believe what just happened. It's as if everything and everyone just disappeared. Finding the small boat was a blessing and a curse. There was a small storage compartment with some food. It kept me going for a few days, but that quickly ran out. I did not see any sign of life for days. The third night, I heard a storm in the distance. I lost all hope and came to peace with my fate. I awoke to a loud thud. To my great surprise, I landed on some strange island. Starving and dehydrated, I slowly walked along the coast for what seemed like miles. The high cliffside never stopped as I searched for a way inland. I found some coconuts and bananas, which I gobbled down quickly. That's when I noticed some ladders. With a burst of energy, I ran and climbed up in hopes of finding someone on the other side. I walked for hours and hours through the thick vegetation. I came across some creatures that were not so friendly. I returned the same greeting. Eventually, I came upon a small encampment. It was completely deserted. I continued to search the island and came upon a cove. I was shocked to find a ship anchored there. I ran downhill and hid atop a tree to get a better view. There I waited to see if anyone entered or exited the ship. When I decided the coast was clear, no pun intended, I cautiously ran closer to the ship. As I boarded, I made sure to be on guard. The mast was broken and would need repair. The rest of the ship seemed intact and was good enough to sail. I decided to waste no time and started searching for supplies. There was plenty of lumber around the island. I found an old cannon with extra rounds. With an abundance of food on the island, I made sure to take plenty for the trip. Near the shore, I found a box of silk. I knew I can get good coin for it. It took me most of the day, but I had the ship stocked with plenty of supplies. Considering it was almost nightfall, I decided it would be safer to sail the next morning. In the middle of the night, I heard a strange yet familiar sound. As if pulled by a magnet, I walked straight toward the source. It was coming from the ship. The next morning, I struggled trying to raise the mast. Determined, I gave it one last try with all my might. Quickly, yet carefully, I finished repairing the mast. I had to get off the island. Something was not right about it. For better or worse, this ship was my only means. Cautiously, I turned the ship to exit the cove. Finally, I lowered the sail and set off. I avoided the first port on the map because of the large storm lingering over it. After sailing a few days, I finally reached Golden Sands Outpost.